Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be doing a rare revisit video on Eric Hermit's vivarium simulation called Earth Tongue. Just in case any of you missed it, I covered this one a little over a week ago, and I actually was covering a pretty early preview version of it that was missing quite a few of the features, but now we've actually got the final version and we'll be able to, at the very least, give us sort of a more accurate description of whether or not some of the things that I had predicted in the prior video were actually, reasonable and good additions to this gameplay concept. And it is definitely a bit out there, and it's not something that I think is necessarily for everybody, but the more I play and think about this game, the more I think it is, in fact, for me. Anyway, why don't we check out the options menu very quickly before we start. We've got this little fungus shovel-shaped cursor here. We've got individual settings for music and sound, as well as a full screen toggle and a host of 5 different resolutions ranging from 640 by 480 to 1280 by 960. I'm gonna go with my standard 1280 by 720, which is pretty much the most YouTube friendly, I guess we'll say. So let's do a play button here, and we'll have the title screen lift itself off the ceiling, and a world will be generated. So that's what's going to happen. So every single time you start up a new game of this, and you don't, of course, have to start a new game every single time you play it, but you are presented with a new world. Unfortunately, one of the things that I think I was most looking forward to or hoping for was maybe a little bit more visual diversity in the ground tiles, but then again, we get so much more in the background going on, and visually and auditorily, there is actually stuff happening now, whereas before it was just a black screen with just this landscape stretching across the bottom. But that's, of course, kind of not the most important thing, when what we're really after here is what is changed about the actual gameplay itself. And in that case, there's a lot of depth and complexity, so we can actually influence things directly this time, whereas prior we really were just sort of on our own to watch things happen and unfold before us. Now we can actually go in and grab one of the bugs, lift it up, and move it if we so choose. Move it over here if we want. We could try and set up a little situation where all the bugs are living together in one spot. We can try and use that to influence the outcome of the various fungi growing in different ways and directions. And of course, as you probably noticed on the top, we've got an actual menu that we can choose things on, which actually says interventions, and there's a little like a star there, and then it says 6. So we can use those interventions to actually import bugs. We can import fungus, or we can use weather, and weather has a few different things that I can do. So right now they're all set to random. If I want to, though, I can actually choose an individual bug and go scroll through the cycle of this until we get back to random. We can choose an individual fungus, or I guess we can also cycle through different types of weather. I guess that would be a nutrient storm there. I'm going to guess that's going to be rain. That might be, I'm going to guess wind, or it almost looks like a bomb. Maybe that causes everything to reset, and then we're back to random again. So let's scroll through a little bit. There's also a much-needed time speed-up feature, which if you're interested, you can actually speed it up to 3 and let the age of your planet go by very quickly. See, if your biomass starts to decrease, you might want to drop that timer real quick and just take a look around and see what's changing about your planet, because if you're losing biomass, you're probably losing, well, some of the nutrients that are going to require to keep things moving in a positive direction. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a bunch of extinct species of various things. The other major addition here is there is now a research journal, which is a thing that I actually had unintentionally predicted as a good idea. And I'm kind of real happy that this exists, because what it allows you to do is really put yourself into this experience a lot more. So we've got various entries here which are going to fill up with information. So the more you play this, the more you're going to learn about the various types of life that can live on this planet, and ways to hopefully nurture it to, continue to live and grow and proliferate. So apparently this is the Kingdom of Fungus, class Mold. This is Pink Mold. Pink Mold is the most common mold, and often the first to pioneer presence on a new world. It survives by soaking nutrient and moisture from the soil below it. Roots can stretch across vast horizontal distance, but it must rely on the spores spread by its caps to travel across an elevation distance. Spores generally tend, so that's actually really useful information right there that it gave us, that it must rely on spores spread by its caps to travel across an elevation distance. So horizontally we're good, but when they reach like a vertical abutment, then all of a sudden this is going to stop spreading. Spores generally tend to only reach locations directly to the sides and are not given any initial vertical lift. Okay, so it's actually spelling it out quite directly for us. I really like the sound effects as well as we move around through these menus. They pretty much nailed this kind of a lo-fi, like 8-bit vibe, but it tries to keep things sort of light at the same time as a little bit mysterious. The tone here is, I think, a lot of why I'm so interested in this. The random chance of further panspermia is unlikely to happen often. Instead, I should consider intervening. I might select an important new bug, or to import a new bug, new fungus, or cause an effect of weather. These actions may do marvelous things for this ecosystem's balance. These interventions exert me based on type specificity, and I shall require time to rest and observe the inspiring presence of life to regain this mental energy. I like that we've kind of designed around that gameplay mechanic with such a silly premise. Alright, so we're gonna import a new type of fungus. Since that only costs 2, we'll use a random one. We've gotten pink mushroom immigrated. Okay, so let's go find where that is. We can also use the arrow keys or WASD if we choose, instead of dragging with the mouse. Oh, well, so much for that. Pink mushroom has gone extinct. Does that show up on my research journal? Okay, that one seems to be empty. Not sure what's going on there. Pink mold immigrated. Didn't I already have pink mold? Wasn't that this? Seems like the only thing that wants to live on this planet, actually. Our biomass is actually increasing. Oh, it just went to 100 for a second. What was up with that? And our diversity is 2. Let's import a bug. We've got wasps. Alright, I don't know what to do about wasps. Oh, I can actually move them. Let's put it by this fungus and see if that helps or hurts it. Because I think that's a lot of what we're going to get out of this game, is just sort of experimentation, seeing what we can... Oh, what happened here? Did it die? Wasp, what are you doing? I put it on the fungus, it just stopped moving. Oh no, did I kill it? I have no idea what I'm doing. Is there anything in the research journal for this? I don't think there is, actually. So I can look at all these different types of mold, all these different types of insects, but I don't have them actually lit up yet, so they're not part of my world just yet. This entry will be written upon reaching age 1,750 in a living world. Oh, okay, so there's actually stuff that's unlocked just by playing for a long amount of time. And that is, of course, a viable option if you're interested. You can actually not intervene at all and just let time pass and see what happens, because I guess there could be instances where, given the random generation of things and the way things all work, you might end up with the planet actually thriving quite nicely. And in fact, there's quite a few things that the planet can kind of counteract for all in its own without you having to really intervene. Looks like this pink mold is doing quite a number on this landscape here. Kind of surprised there's no terraforming options, though. I kind of figured somewhere in there, maybe there... Well, I guess I could check to see what this does. Wind blew spores skyward. Okay, that makes sense. We can actually give things a lift. I was thinking maybe there could be an earthquake effect or something that would kind of even out some of the peaks, which would be another way to get around that, but maybe it would destroy some of your life at the same time, so it would be kind of a hit-or-miss proposition whether or not that's a good idea. I'm really interested also in the idea of this becoming sort of a platform for more and more expansions to this concept, in that, well, so you could add different forms of weather, you could add different forms of insects, you could add different bugs, and the way that these all play off of each other could eventually become increasingly elaborate to the point where, well, this actually becomes incredibly complex, and I'm sure it's actually pretty complex right now. But I just see diversity in the visuals and audio going right along with that, and right now it's a little bit homogenous in the fact that, well, every time, like I said, you start up with this sort of drab navy planet. I mean, there could be some interesting concepts here, some challenges that maybe you'd have to overcome. Maybe you'd spawn into a world that has an active volcano in the center, or maybe, you know, a chemical area that's kind of discourages certain types of life, or one that happens to have, I don't know, a river running through it. I can imagine just all kinds of different ideas that this could be really interesting to interact with. Of course, that's going to revolve around how many variables can this developer possibly account for, and I guess after a point it might just become a little bit too much. But I really like the way this is going already, and I guess I just see such promise in it. This seems like a thing that people could really get behind en masse if they get, like, the right kind of push toward it. It's just going to be a bit of a marketing challenge to try to get people to be interested in, well, why would I want to play a game where all I really do is watch little pictures appear and disappear and have very little influence over it? Well, why does anybody play games like Civilization? I mean, grand strategy games and things like that that involve long-term amounts of time investment and strategic thinking, and, of course, you know, positive and negative trials and tribulations going on kind of at random chance. I think people already have the market for this. I think there is already a demographic for this type of gameplay. I just don't think that they know something like this would be fun until they actually give it a chance. And that's where I think some of that visual diversification could really come in handy, because I think some people, and sometimes myself included, might need that little bit of an edge to be pushed over the line to go, hey, wait a minute, every time I look at this, there's something kind of cool and different going on. And that might be just enough to push them over the edge into thinking, hey, I really need to like give this some more time and energy, because clearly something right below the surface is waiting. So really I should just, you know, take some time and really think about it. Oh no, there was a drought. So I guess some of these events are actually totally implemented already, and I didn't mean to be presumptuous in assuming that they maybe weren't, but, you know, I guess just seeing it as it is, it seems like not a lot is happening immediately. But I could probably slow down the timer here. Wasp has gone extinct. I was letting the timer just tick up for a long while because we have research entries to look at now. Oh, it looked like it lit up, but then there's nothing here. Did I do that wrong somehow? I'm not really sure what's going on with the entries. There are so many diverse forms of life. Everything I see here can be divided into two kingdoms, fungi and bugs. It seems that all fungi require both nutrient and moisture to survive. Thankfully, organic nutrient appears to fall steadily from the sky, though I cannot possibly divine as to why this is so. I really like that we're sort of cloaked in the same mystery as the person who is in this experience as we are as the player. Like, we can kind of channel our energy through that person that's experiencing this in the text. Because, yeah, I have no idea why there's nutrients falling, and I like that, you know, there's not some mysterious, ominous presence in the sky telling me X is happening because of Y. We're just going to kind of figure it out as we go along, and I think that's part of the fun of this whole concept. This music also is so NES era, it's kind of making me smile a little bit, because it's reminding me of so many happy experiences, and I guess combined with the visuals, it does definitely bring you to that sort of same mind state. And I don't know if this is the same thing for everybody, because I guess not everybody has had these experiences of having played, you know, NES games as much. But it definitely brings you to this kind of like childlike wonder moment when you hear music like that paired with visuals like this. And I think that does do a little bit to make me interested in figuring out what I can do to influence this world a little bit more. So now that wasps are extinct, I have 14 interventions. I should probably start importing some bugs. So we've got grubs and something else, I think, just immigrated, but I kind of clicked too quickly to look. Let's see if we can just find it. Maybe I just brought another wasp back to life. That's probably what that was. And we'll import yellow mold and blue mold and see if any of them can survive. It might be a chance of like a little bit too late for anything else to really proliferate, because I've got so much of this pink mold on everything that, well, when the spores land, most likely, oh, this is the grub. See if the grub can eat some of this pink mold. Now that there's so much of this taking over pretty much every tile, I'm having a hard time imagining things are really going to take a big foothold. What is up with the wasps? Seriously, they just kind of like stand on one tile and die. But that is part of the mystery, and the discovery of something like this is learning how things interact and how you would best influence things to get the desired outcome. Kind of peeling back the veil of the whole, you know, the curtain of what is the AI and how is it programmed to do what it does, and getting into the headspace of the developer to, again, try to influence things the way that you'd like. And it's interesting, too, when you can kind of have the developer take a backseat to what you think organically could transpire as if you were sort of role-playing as a person in this actual world. So, like, if there's enough naturalistic reference being made here that we could say, oh, well, I know this about fungus, so given how this is mapping to the little bit of a reaction that I've been given in this actual game, I can expect this to happen. So it kind of takes you out of, like, just figuring out everything blindly to what kind of information can I adapt from my actual real life to then sort of exert more influence in good directions that way. And it's not just about, you know, playing Go Fish and guessing to see what happens and then sort of adapting from there. And I think best combination is sort of maybe a little bit of both, because that blind guessing thing does definitely increase the amount of wonder that you feel when you guess right. But on the other hand, it might also be discouraging if something flies in the face of the reality that you know to be true. So we're at nearly 3,000 age now, so that's actually getting pretty up there. Any new entries? Bugs are a very different form of life compared to the fungi. Seems that they consume other life to survive. They come in herbivorous, what is that? Detrivorous? I'm really bad with some of these words. Carnivorous, or mixed diet categories. I really need to spend a little bit more time in biology, apparently. Instead of reproducing via spores, bugs can do so by laying eggs. After reaching a certain age, a single egg cluster may contain many bugs inside. Okay, so we've got to watch out for bug clusters or egg clusters. And that seems to be where we're at entry 5. I think I should probably wrap up the video at this point, because I feel like most people at this point, you'd kind of have a good idea what you're getting yourself into for this one. I should mention also, oh, Wasp has immigrated. Isn't that nice? It's like the 3rd time in this world. This is a very interesting way that the developer has chosen to market this game too, because not only can you just buy this straight out, you can also pay for it via art. So if you want to contribute fan art to this this game, you can actually send it in and get a copy, which is kind of progressive and interesting, and I like it quite a bit. This is also up on Greenlight right now, so if you're interested in this concept, I would definitely recommend giving it a vote. I will, of course, have links for both the game to purchase, as well as the Greenlight link if you'd like to go vote for it. And I would love to see this reach Steam, because I'd love to see what the reaction of the community that could engender would be. And even knowing that we're still rather early in what could be a pretty big community, I think it's exciting to see what you guys think about it just right now, too. So definitely feel free to chime in the comments. If you guys have had any positive experiences or, you know, disastrous outcomes or incredibly interesting outcomes in your own personal Earth Tongue worlds, definitely let me know that as well, because I am curious to know what other directions maybe that this experience could take. And of course, if you just have any ideas about what could be implemented or what could be changed to make this more exciting, or what might be the dividing line that keeps you out of being interested in this, and what might be changed to put you into that category of being interested, I'd be curious to hear that as well. But that's going to do it for another day's episode. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like on it. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day, so I look forward to bringing you another one tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the video very much, and I will see you all later.